Hi everyone, my name is Betania Caraballo, and I wanted to start off by asking you guys, um, have you ever, any one of you guys ever lived in a city type like environment? And if any one of you guys have, you know all too well that um, a city type like environment can be very congested. So I wanted to focus on Hoboken, and you all know Hoboken called the square mile city. Even though it's not that big, it's very congested. Over 50,000 people live there. So you will see a lot of people walking up and down the street, a lot of taxis, buses. You'll see right in First Street, you have the Hoboken Terminal, which is a major transportation hub where you can catch a PATH train to the city or a ferry to the city, or you can catch a train to other parts of Jersey. So, in a nutshell, yes, Hoboken is very congested. So, um, my main reason why I'm talking about the congestion in Hoboken is because if you ever walked in this city, you will notice a lot of people riding bicycles, a lot of pedestrians. So I always wondered, because I drive in Hoboken a lot, and I always wondered how safe is this city for our bicyclists and our pedestrians. So let's think about the use of bike lanes, because the bike lanes um, have been in effect in Hoboken for over a certain amount of years. But have you ever wondered how safe it is for our for these individuals in general, our bicyclists? So I'm going to get into three main points, and the first one, which is the reason I chose to talk about this, is the um, it's something called Vision Zero, which is a which is basically a safety plan that was put in effect by um, well, actually, it was signed. It was an executive order that was signed by the mayor of Hoboken, Mayor Ravi Bala. He just signed this back in August of this year, August 28th. So I'm going to get into what Vision Zero is. And just to give you an idea, it has the main aim of this plan, safety plan, is to help reduce or to help stop um, injury, traffic injuries or related fatalities by the year 2030. So I'm going to get into that. Um, my second main point will focus on what behavioral theory I thought really had a lot to do with my topic. And I chose the social cognitive theory. So I'm going to get into that, why I chose this. Um, and my third main point, I feel a lot of you are probably wondering, why do you even care about what goes on in Hoboken? Well, it's because I work there. I've been an employee at the Hoboken Hospital for over 15 years, and my mom also resides in Hoboken. So anything that's going on there, really, I try to keep involved, just to basically keep in touch with what's going on in Hoboken, basically to help my mom out and just to keep her informed as well. So, when I'm getting into my main point, which I was focusing on the Vision Zero safety plan under the HudsonCountyView.com, you will see that back in April of 2019, the municipal aid program, the New Jersey DOT, basically gave Hoboken a big ton of money. They gave them $938,000. And this money basically was geared to helping towards not only the Vision Zero plan, but basically to improve a lot of things that Hoboken needs improvement in. For example, road repaving, implementation. Now, the Operation Vision Zero safety campaign, like I mentioned before, is main goal of this plan is to help um, basically try to eliminate the traffic related injuries and fatalities by the year of 2030, like I said before. And they they really want to make this happen. So there is going to be a lot of community involvement. You're going to have your city personnel, such as you can't forget your police officer, like the police department is going to be involved. Your firefighters are going to be involved. You have your city staff, which consists of your transportation and planning community development organization is going to take part in this development of this Vision Zero. And also you have your community groups like your Bike Hoboken, which is very famous in Hoboken, and your Hoboken City Council. So there is a lot of people that are really going to be involved in this. So you're probably wondering, okay, is this implementation, or they're even going to add new bike lanes also as well under this plan. So you're wondering, is this really going to work? I mean, how do we even know? Like, what can we, um, um, who can we really, how can we really know if this money or if these upgrades or safety plans are really going to make a difference in Hoboken? So there was an article in HobokenNewJersey.gov that really kind of like went into another city. For example, New York City, they have bike lanes in effect, and they looked up their statistics and their stats and to see, is this really working? So in the when the bike lanes were introduced in New York City, they helped there was a reduction in pedestrian injury up until 52% reduction. So it is working, if there's a reduction in injuries. With these protective bike lanes, there really is, the streets basically are safer, not only for our pedestrians, because now the crosswalk is shorter to cross the street because of the bike lanes. The actual drivers basically feel a little bit more comfortable because they kind of like can predict what a bike rider is doing because you're on their side of the bike lane. And you have bike lanes make the road a little narrower, so traffic basically has to go through a little slower. So it does help in that sense. Now, also in New York City, they asked bike riders, if bike lanes were implemented, would you continue to ride on the sidewalk, or would you use the bike lanes? And a lot of the individuals, the bicyclists, would transition into using bike lanes. And in New York City, actually, the riding on sidewalks have reduced by 56%. So they are using the protected bike lanes. Now remember, okay, so now that we know that it does kind of make an impact, we can, we're probably wondering if bicyclists have to adhere to certain laws or follow certain traffic rules, and many of us don't know that they do. And according to the New Jersey Bicycle and Pedestrian Resource Center, there was a law that I found that was very interesting. It's Title 39, 414.1, which means that bicyclists must adhere to the same rules of the road that drivers do. Yes, they have to use turn signals. They have to ride only on the right side. They have to follow traffic signals and signs. So yes, they do have to follow certain traffic rules and regulations, which many of us didn't know that. Another law that I thought that was very important is the 39.4.10.1, and this one basically focuses on helmet requirements, and it states that anyone 17 or younger who is going to be riding a bike or who is going to be a passenger on a bike must wear a helmet. Now, the helmet has to be one that is meets the standards of the American National Standards Institute. So that's very interesting to know for all of us bike riders. Now, when I get into my main point number 2, which is the reason why I chose my social cognitive theory, in the Communications Fundamental Communication and Health chapter, it basically proposes that people base their behavioral decisions on the interaction of cognitive and environmental factors. So I thought this really kind of like went into each other, kind of like related to each other, because remember, bike lanes are being adjusted to the floor. People are going to be comfortable on changing their behavior when there's an environmental factor that's basically going to improve their way of life, right? So think about this. In the use of this theory, it's created for the sole purpose to use them, so cognitively there is an approval for its use. So this cognitively is going to tell you, hey, they're creating this for me, these bike lanes. It's basically, I can use them, right? I can use them. So why not follow, why not follow this trend of using these bike lanes? So cognitively and environmental, they're both coming, to work together. So that's why I think the social cognitive theory really has to do a lot with this topic. And then my main point number 3, which is the reason why I chose Hoboken, why it matters to me, again, because I work there and I experience this city constantly for a long time, and plus my mom also lives in Hoboken. So I like to keep up with the news that's going on there, not only for my mom's safety, but just to stay involved. So I mentioned the Hoboken 411.com website, which is very informative. You go into this website, you can basically see what's going on in Hoboken. You can find out a lot of information, like community information there. And then I mentioned the Nixie messaging system, which is totally free. This messaging system helps because they basically send you news updates. They tell you any event information that's going on in Hoboken. And they'll send you either an email. You can get information either email or by text, and it's very informative. So plus I stay involved because, again, I worry about my mom when she goes out. Remember, Hoboken is not, to me, it's not very safe. There's a lot of double parked cars. There's a lot of people that run stop signs. So these bicycle lanes really help control the flow of traffic, which is why I really am in favor for this Vision Zero plan that they're putting into effect in Hoboken. So, in conclusion, remember, when you look down at the pavement and you see these bicycle lanes and you are seeing them more in a lot of cities, they're there for a reason. And the reason is basically for safety, to keep not only our bicyclists safe, but our pedestrians as well. So remember, the Vision Zero plan, safety is the main goal. of this plan. Riders, through the use of the cognitive theory, will they will adjust to this bicycle lanes. That's what it's there for, and they'll learn to cognitively accept or use them because they're created for that. And remember, Hoboken, with these bicycle lanes, it's just going to be a safer place to live for the community there. So yes, I feel that bike lanes were created for a reason. And again, the reason is to keep pedestrians and bicyclists safe. So what can I say? Keep making those bike lanes because we need them. Thank you.